This is the November 30 edition of our Talk News TV, and let me greet you a happy week, especially with the anniversary of Andres Bonifacio. We attended a discussion of the grandchildren of the national heroes, and we had that event, a media forum at the Kamuning Bakery with Gary Bonifacio. I think we have a shot of our kapihan there. And the main point of the discussion, there's Gary over there, the smaller fellow, with Wilson D. Flores of the Philippine Star. And in the discussion, the main point that was being made is that Andres Bonifacio, national hero Andres Bonifacio, should be declared the first Philippine president. And this is based on the documents that the Archivo General Militar de Madrid brought to the Philippines in 2012 or 2013, which contained thousands of new material documents, actual documents with the handwriting of Andres Bonifacio. And on this basis and these new findings, Attorney Gary Bonifacio, who is a grandson of Procopio Bonifacio, the brother of Andres Bonifacio, who was killed with him in Marugondon in Cavite by the elements of the Aguinaldo faction. And so we are going to explore this issue today, and subsequently also we will discuss the question of heroes. We have had this recent reports of a UP student, a female student, who was killed in an NPA military encounter in Batangas, and there is a raging controversy about this. And I think this occasion allows us to, or gives us the opportunity to discuss this as an important question for our youth and our parents and, of course, our historians. But of course, the story of Andres Bonifacio is a major story in our history. In fact, during the discussion with Attorney Gary Bonifacio, I heard him recite again this poem, itong tula, na ngayon ko lang narinig, pero para sa iba, nung bata sila, kanilang nire-recite ito, no? Yung tawag na Putol-Putol poem, purportedly a retelling of how Bonifacio was murdered by Aguinaldo's troops, led by Lazaro Macapagal, the grandfather of Gloria Arroyo, according to this version. The Supremo and his brothers were reportedly hacked to death by fellow Katipuneros who used bayonets and bolos. And during the 1935 presidential elections, Manuel L. Quezon accused his rival Aguinaldo of ordering the execution of Bonifacio. So powerful was the propaganda that Aguinaldo even lost in Cavite, his own province and town. And on March 22, 1948, Aguinaldo issued a handwritten note admitting that he was responsible for the killing of Bonifacio. Ito po yung kanyang, ito yung tula na para sa mga bata, pero according to this discussion, was a serious poem referring to the murder or assassination. There are different terms used for it. Of Andres Bonifacio. And aputol apaa, di dadapa. Aputol atenga, di bibingi. Aputol akamay, di papasma. Aputol aulo, di tatakbo. Aputol abuhok, di kakalbo. Aputol asinturon, di huhubo. Aputol aitak, di iiyak. Aputol abuhay, di mamamatay. So, I found this so interesting that I thought I'd read it to you and ponder on the meaning of this. However, the other serious questions here are, with these new documents provided by the Archivo General Militar de Madrid, it is now seen how Andres Bonifacio was really a fully developed leader of a government. He had the concept of the nation state, what he called the Haring Bayan, what we may call today in our more modern political language as republic. Haring Bayan, the rule of the people, the sovereignty of the people, the reign of the people. And he had a concept of citizenship. This was important to me, being a Chinoy or a Chinese Filipino. Anong konsepto ni Bonifacio ng citizenship? Meron pala siyang malinaw na konsepto dito. And I heard from Attorney Gary Bonifacio how he explained it, saying that for Bonifacio, according to his writings that was included in this, in the many thousands of documents here in the Archivo General Militar de Madrid archives, which was in several cajas, in several cases that was returned to the Philippines. When Bonifacio was asked, Andres Bonifacio was asked, anong citizenship ngayon na itong mga kanluranin, the Westerners who are in the Philippines? How would you consider? How do we consider their citizenship? Ang sabi daw ni Andres Bonifacio, what Andres Bonifacio wrote, by the way, not only stated verbally but wrote, is that Westerners of fourth generation in the Philippines may be considered as citizens of the Philippines. How about the Chinese, yung mga Inchik or Chino? His view was that 2 generations here in the Philippines and the Chinese in the Philippines may be considered citizens of the Philippines already. So, yan ay binigyan ng diin. The Attorney Gary Bonifacio put stress on those lines of Andres Bonifacio to explain why he feels that Andres Bonifacio had worked out all these concepts already. And in fact, I think we have a facsimile here from Wikipedia of the presidents of the Philippines, if we can project that. In some of these listings, Andres Bonifacio is already listed as the first president of the Republic, and not Emilio Aguinaldo. Emilio Aguinaldo comes in second. Let me see, what other images do we have? Well, another evidence or another aspect of Andres Bonifacio that Attorney Gary Bonifacio wanted to put stress on is the way the colonial history about Bonifacio has depicted him as ignorant, uneducated, and he's always projected as the plebeian with rolled up sleeves and rolled up pantaloons, and his red bandana and his bolo. But he says that actually witnesses and again evidence from all these materials in the archives show that Andres Bonifacio was a highly developed military commander. And unfortunately, he says most of the depiction has been that of the plebeian, but he referred us to one particular monument in a town that really knew Andres Bonifacio. And this is in Pasig. This monument of Andres Bonifacio as a soldier, an officer in military uniform riding a horse. And he says that this is unfortunately not the image that has been projected or drawn from all the colonial histories of Andres Bonifacio, and he wanted to give stress to that. President Duterte has called on the country to emulate the heroism of Andres Bonifacio. And it has been reported in various papers, this call of President Duterte. And indeed, I think for many young people, this call to heroism is always a very attractive call. And in fact, when we had our national heroes in the revolution, they were all very young. Andres Bonifacio died at age 33. And of course, we know of the young Del Pilar and many other of our heroes, and Jose Rizal too, who was in his 30s also. And now we come to this present-day heroes of ours. Who are our heroes? We have so many versions of heroism and heroes. And we have many conflicting monuments to conflicting heroes. Of course, we have the famous or infamous hero monuments of EDSA 1. We also have the hero monuments of the leftists. We, of course, have the heroes of the Republic in the Limigan ng mga Bayani. And we recently had a huge controversy created by a few people, but becoming very huge because of our media and international political opinion on the matter. And that is the burial of President Ferdinand E. Marcos in the Libingan ng Bayani, the official burial grounds of Philippine soldiers and Philippine officials, which has been called the Cemetery of Heroes, Libingan ng mga Bayani. And there were protests, and there are still threats from the leftists and from other elements to creep in the night into the burial chambers of Marcos here in the Libingan ng mga Bayani, here in Fort Bonifacio, to excavate and exhume Marcos and throw his cadaver away. Which, by the way, has some relation to the Manuel L. Quezon campaign against Aguinaldo. Attorney Gary Bonifacio reported that President Quezon, still a candidate at the time, had the skeletons of Andres Bonifacio exhumed and brought around in his campaign and exhibited in his campaign, and to which he pointed in the course of his speeches as the man, the Andres Bonifacio, that Emilio Aguinaldo killed. And that campaign gimmick, if I may, really defeated Aguinaldo. Going back to the present, of course, so we have the bantayog ng mga bayani, which has the mingling of the leftists and other anti-Marcos heroes. We have, of course, the libingan ng mga bayani and so on. And this never-ending controversy of who should be our national hero, whether it should be Rizal, who is today recognized as the national hero, or it should only be Bonifacio, which again, people from the so-called nationalist movements, and mainly leftist nationalists, because you have nationalists on the right, you have nationalists in the center. I keep wondering why we can't resolve this problem the way China has, where after Deng Xiaoping debunked some of the acts and programs of Mao Zedong, his predecessor, he said that, but Mao was not all wrong. He was 70% correct, but 30% wrong. And of course, Deng Xiaoping today is considered 100% correct. And of course, we also have the new Xi Jinping thought that has been enshrined in the Chinese constitution. However, the point is, they are able to give their heroes a place in their history, a proper place in their history, and resolve the question, at least on the national level. So I would like that in the Philippines too. They're all heroes, but they're also human beings, and they had their failings and frailties. But they had that great and grand vision for the good of the nation. However, now we again are into a controversy on the question of heroes. And this NPA young Amazona who was killed in the Batangas encounter with the Armed Forces of the Philippines is now in the front pages. And as I entered our studio for this discussion today, I was greeted by reactions to this controversy over this young lady, whom I will not mention anymore, the name. My reaction in Facebook, which I informed my colleagues here, is, well, if she died with the NPA and carrying arms for the NPA, I wonder why, and I asked that question on Facebook to other friends who were discussing this issue. I wonder if the children and grandchildren of people like Jose Maria Sison, Halandoni in the Netherlands, and the other NDF leaders here, whether their children and or their grandchildren, if they're my generation or Joma's generation, have committed the same degree of sacrifice and shown the same degree of commitment. No, in fact, I think I see some of the children of the NDF leaders who continue to persuade these young people to go to the mountains and fight the people's war and the protracted struggle. And protracted struggle meaning even if you don't win in 100 years, you just keep struggling, which is pointless, which is a great big scam if you're not going to win. And so, unlike Mao Zedong's son, who, when Mao was already leader of the new republic they declared in 1949, still joined the Korean War, fighting with the North Koreans, and died in North Korea, or in the war, in the Korean War. That is evidence of a leader's commitment that his own children carry out the struggle. So the question now, we go back to the original question, is should Andres Bonifacio be considered the first president of the Philippine Republic? Well, I will leave that to you in the audience to decide. We just provide you some of the of history on this matter, but it is an important question, and please get engaged in the debate and on the question of heroism. And my own take in this is that our children, educated and prepared for a productive life, should not waste their lives in a protracted, endless, and pointless struggle. And those who continue to encourage our young people, especially those educated in our top universities like the University of the Philippines, these are the real traitors. Maraming salamat po. Hang on, we have our discussion on the COMELEC mystery. This new COMELEC chairman, Abbas, who and what is he? And we will have our old colleague here in GNN, Mr. Toti Casino, an IT expert, discuss with us this question, the mystery Abbas in the COMELEC.